Extra bonus enemy. Entitlement. Okay, this is coming up because like this one is so obvious that I just didn't even think of it. It's kind of it's like enemy of healing zero. And this is the one that is so insidious and so disruptive to the healing process, and that is entitlement. Okay, what is entitlement? Okay, defining entitlement is a little bit challenging, but it's kind of this idea that like there's this thing, like that I believe I should get, I should have, that is the right thing. It is right if it's given to me, and it's wrong if it's not given to me. Interesting, right? You say, I'm entitled to get love and affection from my romantic partner anytime I'm not feeling good. Okay, I'm entitled to that. What are you saying there? What you're saying is that if they give me love and affection when I want it, that is the correct thing to do. And that makes you a good boy. And if you don't give it to me at the time that I want it, that's the wrong thing to do, and you're a bad boy. Okay? Entitlement has judgment baked in. And that's one of the reasons why it is so disruptive and challenging to the healing process. Because if I'm sitting here being like, I'm entitled to love and affection, I'm entitled to point out that you're the person that hurt me, I'm entitled to get my free space and my free time and, take a break anytime I want to, then there's this kind of baked in judgment that is like, this is something that I demand. And if I get my demand, then it's correct and right and good. And if I don't get my demand, it is not correct, it is wrong, and it is bad. Entitlement is judgment. Entitlement is demanding. Entitlement is, I'm going to be angry, I am going to be dysregulated, I am going to be judgmental if I don't get what I want. And I guess the way I see it, entitlement has kind of this weird defensive aspect to it, in the sense that a person that is really kind of swimming in entitlement energy in their life will oftentimes be in a situation where they want something in kind of like just deep down purely selfish ways, but yet they're not so good at asking for it, and they're not so good at processing it if they don't get what they want. And so instead of making a fair request and allowing the other person to respond, instead of, well, yeah, getting that far, and then if they don't get what they want, then it's going to be rejection, abandonment, shame spiral, that kind of stuff, right? So there's this aspect of entitlement that I see as being defensive, in the sense that it's like, there's something I really want, and I can't handle the idea that if I ask for it, someone might say no, because if they say no, then that means they're judging me. If they say no, then that means they're saying I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy of it, or I don't deserve it. And I know that I deserve it. Or at least I want to believe that I deserve it. And I want to believe that I'm owed it, right? I went through all this other pain. I have all these struggles and difficulties and trauma in my life. Life owes me to bring me the yummy cookie that I'm craving right now. So you damn well better bring it to me and give it to me the way that I want it to be. I am entitled to that cookie. And don't you dare stand in my way. Because if you do, that makes you an enemy. That makes you unsafe. Right? What's one of the tropes that we've been seeing on the internet in the last couple of years is that like disagreement is not abuse. And it's not, like, I don't have them in front of me right now, but there's some nice tropes, memes that people have been dropping, that it's just like, just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean they're oppressing you. It doesn't mean they're abusing you, right? A difference of opinion is just a difference of opinion. But yet what happens is people show up with entitlement energy, and they say, no, I am owed this. This is something that I demand, and I want it to be my way. And if you don't agree with me, you are the enemy and you're a threat. And is so as soon as someone disagrees with them, so they say, oh, I am entitled to love and affection and nurturing and holding space for me anytime that I am emotionally dysregulated, right? My partner needs to see that I'm having a bad day or that I don't like the situation, and they need to drop whatever and they need to come be at my side and nurture me through this whole thing. They need to come hold my hand or hold space or cuddle me or whatever. That's their job. That's what their responsibility is. I'm entitled to that. And if I don't get it, they're being a jerk. They're being selfish. They're being evil. They're being an avoidant narcissist, right? Or you flip that around and you get the person that says, I'm entitled to take my space anytime I want it. And it's just like, I don't need to tell you about it. I don't need to communicate it. I don't need to like take any of your feelings into account. There's times where I just feel overwhelmed and I need to take my space, and I'm just going to do that. And I'm entitled to that. And see, it's just like, I'm demanding that I get this. I get my space at the drop of a hat anytime I want. And if you don't give it to me, there's something wrong. There's something wrong about you. If you do give it to me, it's good. If you don't give it to me, it's bad. Like, it's judged as morally bad. And you see this all around the internet. Okay, well now let's kind of move away from these like toxic discussion groups and like move into just like the general sense of healing, where I'm not actually in some kind of weird anxious avoidant dance with someone, that it's just me moving through life. I'm on my own and I'm engaging with different modalities or teachers or whatever. And it's like, okay, well then how does this fit in? Turns out it's pretty similar in the sense that I'm trying to address my unresolved wounds inside, or I'm trying to get in touch with the parts of me that are terrified and resolve those fears so that I can be stronger, more resilient moving forward. And I'm in that kind of situation. And then at any time that I believe that I'm entitled to something, that they owe this to me, right? Let's think of a good example for that. Let's say I'm doing a course on meditation, and I am sitting there trying to connect with my thoughts, listening to my breathing, monitoring, watching, observing, and then some intrusive thought comes in about, a stress with work or a stress with family or whatever. This intrusive thought comes in, and I say, I'm meditating here. I should be able to just sit here and meditate. I don't want those intrusive thoughts. I'm entitled to some silence here. That example is a little weird, but I think you get the idea, is that we can have this sense of entitlement with ourselves. And many people do. Many people will be in this case where they're like, basically, they're just being introduced to this idea of inner child and attachment theory, and then they're trying to connect with this kind of seat of emotions that lives inside them. And they're just being like, I don't want that emotion. Like, this is stupid. Does that sound judgmental? You're just like, you're going into yourself and you're saying, this judgment, this criticism, this word, this whatever the thing is that's coming out of this emotional nucleus that lives inside me, I'm judging it and saying, no, I don't want that. I don't want you. I don't want this aspect of myself. I'm entitled to something different. I'm entitled to be a trauma-free person. I'm entitled to be a person that doesn't get triggered in that situation. You see that? This is one of the ways that it blocks healing in a major, major way. And it's very insidious and it's very sneaky. And working with someone that's in that place where they have profound self-judgment and they don't think they do. They're literally listening to these voices that are inside them and saying, no, that voice is stupid. That voice is bad. Like, I don't want that to be a part of me. I don't want to be an angry person. I'm entitled to be a person that doesn't have anger problems. I'm entitled to be a person that doesn't break down crying all the time, right? There's this kind of weird judgmental bit to it. I mean, this is where kind of entitlement and judgment are kind of like melding a little bit. But I'm in this place where I'm judging myself. for being different than what I want myself to be. And I say that because I want to be different and I believe I'm entitled to be different. Now, not everyone's like that, of course. This is not 100%. But many people are. And those are the people that I hope this message reaches. You know, there are other people that are just like, yeah, I don't want to be crying every day, all day long. And I truly want to be different. I truly want to find the root of what is creating all this sadness and pain inside me, and then help that heal or transition or move or whatever to a different state. And I'm doing that with the truest sense of self-love. It's not like I'm not entitled to anything. I'm doing this because I desire it, because I care for you, the little kid inside. I'm literally practicing self-love as I do that. That's kind of like the correct way to do it. But there's a lot of people that just say, no, I refuse. I don't like what's there. And I want it to be different. And I demand that it be different. And that will definitely get in the way of your healing process. Make sense? Hope so. So, entitlement is a huge red flag if I see it in other people. And to the point now where it's less like, you know, we have a finite number of breaths left in our life. We have a finite number of seconds ticking. Tick, 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 tick. How many seconds am I going to waste on a person who has entitlement energy about them? They believe they're entitled to more. They believe they're entitled to different. And they've got very profound and intense judgment and anger at the situation if they don't get what it is that they're demanding. And I'm now at a point now, maybe it's because I'm older, I don't know, but I'm at a point now where the moment that I see entitlement energy, I am like, check out. I mean, if it's a friendship or, you know, general casual social engagement, it's like, you've told me everything I need to know about this relationship and who you are. Like, and until that changes, I have no interest in deepening anything with this human being. But of course, in a therapeutic relationship, it's different because it's just like, no, my job is actually to be here and help people move through that. And so I do that to the best of my ability. But there's still, it's like in that dynamic, one of the first goals is to kind of break this addiction to entitlement, break this addiction to the idea that I'm deserved. I owe, you know, whatever it is, the world, universe, partner, whatever, they owe me something, because they really don't. Like, life doesn't owe you anything except a series of experiences. That's it. As far as I can tell, that's the only thing life will give at all times and consistently, is it will just give you a series of experiences. It's up to you to figure out how to structure those experiences in the way that it best aligns with your joy and freedom. But when we live in a world, and trust me, I did it for a long time. Oh my God, it was miserable. When we live in a belief system that says life owes me justice or fairness or honesty, like get ready for a life of misery, because that's just simply not true. Life doesn't do that. It's not life's job. It's, you know, the universe is not here to serve your wild conceptions about what's fair and what's not fair. And that one burned me for ever and ever. Decades burned on that one, right? Just being like, this situation is not fair. I'd feel hopeless. I'd feel angry. I'd feel out of control. And why? Because I believed I was entitled to fairness. I believed that justice was some kind of higher power. And I believed that it was entitled. Like, I am entitled to some kind of justice in this situation. You treated me poorly. You used my money, you used my time, you lied to me, whatever. I am entitled to justice. And that there needs to be some kind of consequence for your bad behavior. And there just isn't. I mean, sometimes there is. But the thing is, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes there's, and I've gotten nasty ones, right? Many years spent in a situation that was completely one-sided, and the entire legal system was balanced against on the other side. And it just feels completely unfair. And you just got to be like, okay, that's life. My job now is to find a way to find peace, prosperity, and freedom, even in the face of this injustice, because I am not entitled to justice or fairness or love or attention or finances or fitness or life or whatever, partnership, whatever, right? I am not entitled to any of those things. But if I believe I am, guess what? My general sense of well-being, happiness, and freedom is degraded, and my progress through the healing journey is also greatly degraded. So don't do that. All right. I'll bring that one to an end. We'll make it a short one. And because I think you all get the point, entitlement is a doozy, and try to catch yourself on it and be watchful for others. And the healing process will grow and multiply and prosper. I wish you the best. Peace.